Welcome into sportsbookreview.com. I'm Gary.
And I'm Chris.
And this is the College Football Show Week 10 opening lines. Before we do anything, first off, how was your Halloween?
Halloween was very nice, very good.
I could imagine because you hit basically every bet that you threw out there.
I did. I lost one game, and I'll take that loss.
I did not win all but one game. I lost all but two games.
You've had a hell of a season, though, Gary. You had to know at some point in time you're going to have a bad week.
Well, I've had 2 bad weeks in a row. I went 2-5 the week before, 2-7.
Oh, I don't remember
this
you
week.
having a losing week the week before.
Oh,
I remember
yeah.
you wasn't as great as normal.
Oh, it was bad.
Okay.
So, and I'm going to chalk up the Halloween one to the full moon.
Halloween.
And Halloween.
Chicanery, craziness.
Because
yeah.
Voodoo,
witchcraft.
Some of the stuff that happened was just banana. The backdoor cover by Arkansas, the not hitting the over in Georgia State, Coastal Carolina, when
if they score anything, you hit it.
It was unbelievable. Like Georgia State was averaging 42 points a game.
And how many they score in this one?
0.
Okay, yeah, that's not
Coastal hit 51 by themselves. I mean, what are we doing?
There's not a world in which that game can be replayed and you don't hit that over.
Oklahoma State dominated Texas and lost the game.
Yeah, but we know what happens there.
Yeah,
turnovers are an equalizer the
greatest equalizer.
That is unmatched.
Yeah, it was pretty nuts. So I ate a bunch of candy, drank a bunch of Bud Light. You know,
washed away the sorrows.
Yeah,
cried yourself to sleep.
I watched late night football and got a win with San Diego State. So
there you go.
I felt all right about that.
There you go.
So
the late night games have been a lot of fun.
I
watched BYU kick the crap out of
Western Kentucky.
Yeah, and I enjoyed that.
That makes sense. I will say this: if you watch the Saturday morning closing line show, when we give out like our best bets of the morning and whatnot, we do some team totals.
We added a bunch of games because the lines move so much for that show, and then we get the team totals and things of that nature. We did
pretty well.
We both did really good.
Yeah. So had it not been for those, I'd have been in serious trouble. But per the standings and whatnot, obviously we will do our full recap and whatnot on the Tuesday show. But man, yeah, that was a tough week for me. So the only official picks that we give out are on Tuesday. We racked those up, and it did not go well for me. However, you had a really good week, and I'm glad you got in the winning column.
The first winning week all year.
It only took 10 weeks to get.
It just took 10. I mean, come on. Yeah,
it's
a shade under a decade. It'd be all right.
Do us a favor. Go ahead and like the video if you would so kindly. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel. Of course, you want to see our smiling faces more than just this one time, I know. So make sure you're subscribed. We're going to be here 3 times a week. It's Monday for the opening line show, Tuesday for the big show, which is our deep dive into the biggest games of the week, and our official picks, and our parlays and teasers, which my parlay and my teaser both hit. So felt good about that.
How did that happen?
Well, I went with some different games.
Okay.
So the games that I felt good about, but didn't want to give out as picks because, well, with teasers and whatnot.
I know your parlay is all chalk.
That's all chalk. So and when you throw in Ohio State, Alabama, and Clemson into a part, which had that one not hit, that would have been serious trouble. But I had Wake and Ole Miss against Vanderbilt and stuff like that. So, but that hit at plus 162, and the teaser hit at plus 200. I mean, I ended up all right on the day, so it wasn't terrible. But either way, like the video, subscribe to the channel, make sure to leave your comments. If you see an edge this week that we did not bring up, hit us up with it. We want to know your thoughts, your opinions, everything else, and make sure that you share the show. Tell your friends about it. We want to bring in more people into this universe. We have fun here, and hopefully you do as well, and I'd like to think they will also. So with that said, go over to sbrpicks.com/NCAAF. That is the one website that you need for the college football universe. We do deep dives on all the games. We've got a great crew over there, a great writing staff. They hit everything. I mean, stuff that you wouldn't even think about. They hit on it, and they might convince you to take some pretty good bets. I should have listened to them more last week. So just saying, go check it out, sbrpicks.com/NCAAF. And right quick, I want to give a thank you to all of our great crew over at SBR that puts together these videos because they make us look good. I'll just say that. They make us look better than we actually are, and we appreciate that. So go to sbrpicks.com/pick6 this week. You can pick NFL games and college games. You're picking 6 games against the number, and you can win your share of up to $1,700 in cash prizes. I mean, it's very simple to do. sbrpicks.com/pick6. That's PICK and the number 6. There's a link in the description below. Go check that out. And just to let everybody know, we're not going to be able to hit every game. It's impossible now. The MAC and the Pac-12 are both back this week.
Everybody's back in the bowl.
Everybody's playing. There's going to be 60, 70-plus games every week. If this show was 3 hours, we wouldn't be able to get to all of them. So we're going to go through the ones we find most interesting, the biggest ones on the board, all that kind of stuff. We're going to talk about all of it. But if we don't hit on a game and you want to know our opinion on it, you can follow us on Twitter. I am at Gary WCE.
I'm at Christopher Giannini.
And we have done, I would like to say, a very commendable job of responding to everybody that hits us up. Now, if you send us a ton of messages, I'm not going to be able to respond to all of them. I promise. I'm trying. But I got a 2-year-old, a 15-year-old, 2 jobs, all sorts of other stuff, and a wife that actually wants to spend time with me.
Yeah.
And we're getting into holiday season.
I don't know what that's like.
You know. You're ridiculous, I swear. All right, let's dive into a quick recap, and let's see where this thing leads us. Week 9, Clemson survived 34-28 over Boston College, and in the aftermath of that, we find out DJ Uiagalelei.
All right.
Uiagalelei, I think that's it. Got it. He is going to be starting next week because Trevor Lawrence is out for the Notre Dame game. He is not going to be able to hit the 10-day protocol. He's still
having symptoms.
Yeah, apparently he was still having symptoms. So the game after that might be in trouble too. I mean,
it depends on how long the symptoms last. Yep.
Yeah. So that's the biggest thing that came out of that. The BC Clemson game was fun. That was a lot of fun to watch. So great game. Joe Tessitore calling his sons, drawing Clemson offsides. That was a lot of fun to watch. So Michigan, I've got this note written down. Michigan are frauds.
I don't know about frauds, but I don't know that. But hang on. Before week 1, our expectation for Michigan wasn't great.
Agreed.
We saw them beat up on what we now know to be a pretty bad Minnesota team.
This is true.
So I don't know that they're frauds. What we saw just was a mirage.
Yes, but I will say this: a 27-24 loss at home to Michigan State, and I forget the at home thing. I get it, but a loss to Michigan State in Mel Tucker's first year when he got hired in after signing day. They didn't get a spring training camp. They didn't get hardly any practice. They had to put in brand new systems across the board, and Michigan State wasn't that good last year anyway. They didn't really bring in a lot as far as talent goes recruiting wise. This was a bad loss. No,
it's a terrible loss. No, disastrous loss.
Yeah.
Not forgiving the loss. I'm just saying they can't be frauds if our expectation coming into the season was as we think they're an okay team. We think they're a pretty good team, maybe.
And then
but we don't really know.
Playoffs.
and then we watched one game and that's on us.
Agreed.
That's our fault.
Agreed. We overset the expectation.
It's 100% that's my fault because I did that. I can't speak for everybody else.
It's not just you.
But I can only speak for me.
I thought Michigan
looked
overreacted
fantastic. To one game.
That happens, especially when they're not playing until week 9 of the season.
That's the issue.
Ohio State raced out to a 14-0 lead. They outlast Penn State 38-25. They kind of toyed with the Nittany Lions in this game.
That was one of those things where it seemed like they just were playing prevent defense at the end of the game. Maybe Penn State's offense really is that good, and they just didn't play it for 3.5 quarters. But that fourth quarter, all of a sudden, Penn State's offense looked amazing. I'm with you. I think Ohio State's up big. They know they can score at any time they want.
It never felt in
danger.
It never felt in danger. No. So that's the way it goes. Texas bamboozled Oklahoma State 41-34 in overtime, and that's what'll happen when you have 5 turnovers. I mean, Oklahoma State had 530 yards of total offense. They held Texas to 287 yards of total offense. It was Oklahoma State dominated this game and gave the football away too many times. And when you do that with Sam Ehlinger, it's going to cost you.
You just can't do that.
And then Cincinnati dominated Memphis. These are the ones that we'll hit on, 49-10. Cincy looks really, really good. I want to say playoff good. I don't know that they're going to let them in. But it would be a lot of fun to watch because this is the team that has the wins to be able to get them there. BYU, while that's a fun topic of conversation, even with the win over Boise State and San Diego State, they need those two teams to play insanely well down the stretch.
They need them to be undefeated and beating everybody else to death.
Yeah.
And play each other and make it just an epic game. Yes. That's what they need.
So it looks, if nothing else, I think Cincy is going to get that G5 spot. Now, obviously, there's still Boise State hanging out there. But But BYU, like, they would have to get an at-large berth, and it's entirely possible. They've only got 3 games left on the schedule. They got Boise, they got San Diego State, they got North Alabama. If they win all 3 of them, I think they're pretty much a shoo-in. But we'll see. We'll see what happens.
But you know my philosophy on what the bowl's going to do. BYU is technically not a G5 school.
Yep.
And so they're going to have the New Year's Six bowl be Boise State versus Cincinnati.
BYU against Cincinnati.
BYU against Cincinnati. Yeah, is that what I said?
I wouldn't be against that.
I think it would be actually a really fun game. I want to see both those teams play a real Power 5 team, though.
Yes, I agree. I think it would
because I think both those teams, I'd take the way the Power 5 looks now, with the separation of big boys on top, those other teams underneath those big boys don't scare me at all. I would give every bit of a fighting shot to BYU no matter who they play, or Cincinnati if it's not Alabama, Clemson, Ohio State. Like a fully healthy Wisconsin, those teams.
No, I
think everybody else, I'm going to take my puncher's chance with those little guys.
I could get with that. All right, we got a whole lot of weeknight football this week, so we are going to run through the weeknight schedule fairly quickly, and then we're going to get into the Saturday games. Let's go ahead and start with Wednesday's slots, and we'll start off. Let me write my time down here. We're going to start with Eastern Michigan and Kent State. It's 287, 288. This is on Wednesday night, 6 p.m. Eastern on ESPN+. Eastern Michigan, whole lot of fun. Chris Creighton, I love that guy.
Agreed.
Kent State, Sean Lewis, another really good story. He has turned that program completely around. Opening line, Kent State minus 6.5 with a total of 65. Total has come down to 62.5, and that kind of makes sense because Eastern Michigan unders tend to hit quite a bit because they're always a really good defensive team. However, they lost a ton of guys this year. Kent State, this is a team on the rise, man. The line is down to 6. I kind of like Kent State in this spot. Any thoughts on these, or you want me to fly?
You can roll. We did a prep for the MAC.
Long time
3
ago.
months ago.
Yeah,
maybe longer than that.
I mean, it was July.
It was July. Oh God, yes. Almost 4 months. I couldn't tell you anything about these teams. They haven't practiced a lot. They haven't while they're practicing, I'm watching real football happen. I love Maction. I'm going to need a week or two before I have any idea of what these teams do outside of we both kind of like Buffalo and we think they're the class of the MAC. So you can roll.
All right, let's roll. Let's roll on to the next one. Buffalo and Northern Illinois, as he just brought up, that line opened at Buffalo minus 8 with a total of 49.5. The total is up to 52, and Buffalo is now a 10-point favorite, and I love Buffalo in this spot. Now, Northern Illinois, I get it. Like, everybody remembers them being this defensive juggernaut under Rod Carey, who is now at Temple. However, they have not been that under the new guy, and I forget his name already. But with that said, Buffalo, like top 3 in returning production. They have a ton of guys coming back, and I love this team. I think they are going to be prepped for this. They returned basically everybody off of last year's team, and they were really good last year. They weren't supposed to be.
No.
But they ended up good. Lance Leipold as their coach, I love that guy. Yep. Love that guy. Wisconsin Whitewater won several national championships there in Division III. He is a hell of a coach. I am all over Buffalo. I'm going to take them this week. I don't think I'm going to make them an official play.
Okay.
Maybe I will. I don't know. I mean, it feels weird to take Wednesday games as an official play, but I might. We'll see about the Tuesday show. Moving on from there, 295, 296 rotation numbers, and we have got our buddy, the one and only, Frank Solich, headed over to meet up with the Shark man himself, Jim McElwain, former Florida coach. And these two teams are a lot of fun, right? A whole lot of fun. I am excited about this because I love watching Frank Solich teams. I don't know what they're going to look like. Their quarterback that started for 4 years, his younger brother is now supposed to be the quarterback. So we'll see what happens. Keep it in the family. You know how this thing goes. I don't know anything about these two teams. This is a pick'em. It's still a pick'em. Opened as a pick'em. Hours later, it's still a pick'em. The total of 60 has stuck at 60. People think that this is a good slot, right? So 7 p.m. Eastern time on ESPN. These are supposed to be two pretty good football teams, and I can't wait to watch it. I don't have a lean one way or the other. I don't know which way to go, but the Chippewas and the Bobcats playing on your TV screen at 7 p.m. Eastern on ESPN. 285, 286 is Ball State and Miami. And Miami of Ohio is a lot of fun. I mean, this is a fun football team. And Ball State is really good on defense. So is Miami of Ohio. This total opened at 55. It is still sitting at 55. If I had to lean one way or the other, I would go with the under. Miami of Ohio opened as a 3-point favorite. They are out to 3.5. We're going to get a lot of Wednesday games. If I had to give you the best advice, it would be don't bet on teams until you've watched them. Just don't bet on them until you get some kind of data to see what's going on, because who knows what the practice schedules have looked like or anything like that. I mean, it's just kind of a mess. Thursday night, we've only got one game. And let's move into that. This is not a MAC game. The MAC games are going to be, for the most part, on Wednesdays for the first 4 weeks. And then we'll move into some Friday games and some Thursday games. And you might get a couple of Saturdays here and there. But for the most part, they are doing it for the TV revenue. It is going to be weeknight games, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Now, this is a Mountain West game. 9 p.m. Eastern Time, CBS Sports Network, Wyoming at Colorado State. Wyoming looked like gangbusters at home. They destroyed Hawaii.
Against Hawaii, and I think
Hawaii looked good in week 1 against the Fresno team that destroyed this Colorado State team.
You're bringing them into the cold and the snow, and I just don't. I think that matters.
I mean, I think it does as well, but
I think that matters.
I'll say this. Wyoming,
I have an opinion about this game.
Wyoming opened 5.5 with a total of 49.5. It is down to 3. Now, the total is still sitting there, but it is down to 3. So, Steve Adazio against Craig Bowl. These are two bald guys that coach in the cold.
My people.
I love Craig Bowl. Okay. And Adazio.
I love Adazio. You know that.
I haven't seen anything out of Colorado State to make me believe that they are man enough to be able to handle Wyoming. That's okay. a little rough. I know it's a little aggressive, but I love Craig Bowl in this spot, and I know it's going the opposite way of the line movement. But man, and I'm probably not going to give this out as an official play.
I might,
but I got to tell you, I'm taking Wyoming.
Okay,
I'm taking Wyoming. I'm going to have some money on them. It's not going to be an official pick, but I'm going to have money on them.
Listen, I like my guy Steve.
Do you want to talk about it?
No, I mean I don't have a lot to say about it. I mean, listen, these are two teams that we've seen.
One time each. Wyoming twice.
A game apiece, really. And it's just kind of one of those things where, Hawaii looked really good in Hawaii, and then we let them
they played in Fresno the week before.
Okay,
and then,
They played in warm climate close to the equator. Then they went pretty far away from the equator.
Played in 30-degree weather.
And I just think it's different.
You think it matters?
I absolutely think it matters. I do. I really do.
It should matter.
I like Adazio.
Right. No, I mean, it makes sense. It makes sense. All right. Let's move into Friday night's action. We got 3 games that we're going to hit on Friday.
All 3 kind of good. Well, one of them.
How about this? Interesting games.
Yeah.
Miami, Florida, opened 8.5 favorite over NC State. This is rotation 309 and 310. 7:30 p.m. Eastern time on ESPN. Miami now a 9.5 point favorite. Total 58.5, still sitting there. Miami, Florida has been okay this year. They still have a whole lot in front of them.
Yes.
They've only got that one loss to Clemson.
Correct.
But they've beaten everybody else. They've got North Carolina left. Okay. They've got Virginia Tech left. And then that's really about it. They should be able to out-talent everybody else.
Yes.
Including this NC State team who obviously does not have the quarterback, Devin Leary.
Thought this line was short.
I kind of thought it was too.
I was expecting this line to be 10.
I think these are two teams that like to run the football a lot.
Yeah.
And Miami has played some pretty close games here lately.
Yeah.
Against teams that they got more talent than.
I was hopeful for 10 because I like taking dogs. I get NC State, double digits. While it's been bet up to 9.5, it might get to 10 by Tuesday and we make our picks, but I'm not holding my breath. That much line movement would be a little crazy, but
yeah.
I don't know.
We shall see. Moving back out to the Mountain West here, we have got rotation 311 and 312, and we're talking San Jose State and one of my favorite teams.
Yes.
San Diego State. Brady Hoke and his bunch, they play 3-3-5 defense, and it confuses the hell out of everybody. San Jose State has looked pretty good thus far. Got a big win over Air Force. We won't talk about what happened this past week, but San Jose State's pretty good. This line opened at 10 in favor of San Diego State. It's down to 9.5. And they're playing at San Diego State. So, the total, 48, has moved up to 50. Why you would be taking overs on San Diego State games is beside me. It doesn't make sense. However, this past week, it was a total of 44 against Utah State, and it went over by a point.
It went over because they scored all the points.
But I don't believe that San Jose State is going to score a lot of points here. So it's really
can San Diego State keep scoring 38 points?
I don't think so. But I think they absolutely could against San Jose State because I think they'll be able to win the ball.
San Jose State's not going to bring a defense.
But if that's the case, why are you only favored by 10?
That's the other thing. I think this line's super short.
I think it is too. I love San Diego State.
I love San Diego State here.
So, and with that said, one of the biggest games of the weekend is on Friday night, and it is a late one. It's a 9:45 p.m. Eastern time game on FS1. We gonna have to stay up late.
I'm catching a nap Friday. This past Friday, I left the house at 6 in the morning. I didn't get home till 7 at night. I was exhausted. I missed the end of an amazing Maryland game. Yeah. I will not be missing this game. I will be finding a time to catch a nap, and I will be staying up.
I can understand it. No. BYU is heading over to, good gracious, they're heading over to Boise. And, okay, I mean, I don't know what else to say about it. This is about as big as it gets with non-Power 5.
For G5 going against, I guess.
Independent,
yeah.
Yeah.
This is a Herculean matchup for teams that are not your Herculean teams.
Yes. It's rotation 313, 314. Opened as a pick with a total of 59. The total is still sitting there at 59. It has moved ever so slightly. BYU favored by a point on the road. BYU has looked fantastic. Boise, it hadn't mattered who was playing quarterback. In game 1, they had Hank Bachmeier. He's injured for game 2. They just toss in Jack Sears, the USC transfer, and they're good to go.
He's just fine.
No problem. I would have to lean BYU.
Yes.
But I'm wondering if that's just bias over the fact that I have seen BYU do this so many times.
Well, that's it. We've got 7 games of film on BYU.
We got 2 on
kicking
Boise.
the crap out of everybody.
Yeah.
They played one weird game against UTSA.
Yeah.
And everybody else has been 20, 30 points, 40, some of them 40, 50 points.
Yes, they have beaten the mess out of everybody.
I'm going ride her till she bucks her. You don't ride law.
I'm with you.
I love the Cougars.
I think that they are.
That is not an anti-Boise thing.
No, I think they're just significantly better at quarterback and in the trenches. Offensive and defensive line, I think they're just better.
They got 27-year-olds out there playing.
Boise ain't got none of them.
No, Boise doesn't have anybody that old.
I will say this. Boise is a good team. And they are going
that's
to
what I'm saying.
do well.
This is not a knock on Boise at all. At all.
I think
because I really like Boise.
I think BYU handles them.
I do too.
So I don't think it's
this is a what 2-point line, 1 point. It opened at a pick 'em. It's going BYU, but it's not going to get big enough to scare me off of.
I don't think so either.
Now I would love to see a back and forth game that ended in a last team scoring to win the game.
And we could get that.
I would love to see.
I don't think either one of us sees
I'm
that.
staying up for it. I did not foresee that happening this past Friday. That's shame on me. I was not prepared.
This is 2 ranked teams. Minnesota, Maryland both had big losses.
Disappointing losses.
But that just goes to show you, with college football, you can get a good game out of just about anybody.
Yes.
I mean, it's a lot of fun with this crazy-ass sport with all these different channels that show it. So let's move into the Saturday slate, and let's kind of fly through some of this stuff, because some of it's just not, there's not a ton of massive games.
No, that's okay.
Week.
That's all right, though.
Plenty of opportunities to make money, though.
Yeah.
So with that said, let's dive into the earliest game, which is before noon, which this will be going on while our closing line show is going on. We may talk about changing the start time. We'll
see if we can bump it up.
Maybe 30 minutes.
We're asking other people to wake up earlier. I'm already awake because I'm an old man.
Yeah, I mean, it's same difference. All right, so Air Force and Army, 315, 316 rotation numbers. Army opened a 7-point favorite. 41.5 was the total. 41.5 still sits the total. All these totals are still sitting the same.
Yeah, the totals haven't changed, but this line is shrinking quickly.
It's down to 6. already.
And you can get it at 5.5.
Can you?
Only at one spot. Bet
Yeah, I see
online.
it.
You can get it at 5.5. And I just wonder, is that the trend? Is that the direction it's going to keep going?
I'm curious. I can't bet on Air Force.
No.
Like they looked okay against Boise. They didn't cover.
No, well, no.
But they put up 30 points on them. Yeah. And obviously Boise playing a backup quarterback, all that. So I don't know exactly what that means. Air Force looked great against Navy and looked awful against San Jose State, and then looked okay against Boise. I don't know what to make of this team. They are Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde just all over the place. I cannot bet them.
No,
I can't.
They are fade or walk away. That's the only way I can play them.
Yeah.
I either have to bet against them or I have to walk away. And this is probably going to be a walk away for me.
Yeah, I think the same here. I mean, if I had to lean a certain way, I'd probably think that this game ends up 3 or 4 points. So I'd probably have to lean Air Force.
That's it. That's the problem is I don't know that I trust them enough to do it. But, yeah, if you force me to make a pick, I'd probably still pick Army. I just can't do it. I can't do it.
I can understand. All right, moving on. Let's go ahead and talk about the Pac-12 coming back, and we've got a very interesting one early. 9 a.m. local time kick.
Yeah, this is a noon game, East Coast time.
For a Pac-12 team, for a team on the Pacific time zone. I mean, just bananas.
In Southern California.
Arizona State at USC. It is rotation 357, 358. USC opened a 7.5-point favorite. That is all the way out to 10.5 just in a few hours. That's insane. That's crazy to me. Herm Edwards as a dog has been lights out. Unbelievable against the number. And, they got a playmaker at quarterback. Jaden Daniels is really good. They got a hell of a defense. USC, Keaton Slova's coming back. Everybody's healthy now. Everybody looks good. We'll see what old Chip can do. Because if he doesn't win the Pac-12 South this year, everybody's talked about it's time for him to be gone for 2 years. I don't know what they're going to do if he doesn't win the Pac-12 South this year. It's not like the schedule is all that difficult, but you got to get through this one first to be able to get there, and I don't know that they can do it. Now, I know that they're 10.5-point favorites. This one's on Fox, by the way, the big noon kick. But, man, I would have to lean Arizona State, and that might be an official play for me, depending on where that line goes by Tuesday. So, we will see. Moving on from there, we got another massive game at noon. And people may not think that this is a massive game, but they would be sorely mistaken. Liberty at Virginia Tech. Liberty is number 25 in the AP poll.
Yes, sir.
They are undefeated. Hugh Freeze has had a week off to prep for Virginia Tech. And Virginia Tech by the skin of their teeth, got by Louisville last week. I like Liberty a little bit here.
I like Liberty a lot.
Opened 16.5. It's down to 15.5 in favor of Virginia Tech. 66.5 total. Yeah, I could see that. I'm
not touching totals anymore because I'm good defensive teams. I'll play unders. These overs, if one team doesn't show up, we've played Vatech overs that we thought were a sure thing.
Yeah,
Virginia Tech was a team that didn't show up, and you get busted. All you need is one team to not show up, and the other team does what they're supposed to. And
you can't hit it.
It kills your whole number.
It's the same thing with Coastal.
It was your Coastal Vatech against Wake Forest. This has happened too many times. Excuse me. I just can't. I can't do that.
Totally fair.
I can't do that. I'm staying away from all Virginia Tech totals, all the big number totals.
Liberty in this spot. This is a massive game for them. This is their first game against a P5 team.
Yeah.
Aside from the Syracuse game, but are we going to count that?
No.
This is first game against
this
a really,
is a real
really good team.
I kind of think Virginia Tech should be ranked.
They got those 2 losses.
I know they've got. That's the problem.
Hey, you get this win here.
We're ranking teams that have one win, a win, over a team that has 2 losses, but they played 8 games or 6 games or whatever.
We got several teams that have no wins, that have nothing. Michigan's ranked; they're 1-1. Yes. Oregon and USC are ranked, and they both are 0-0.
I would have Vatech ranked over Michigan right now. I don't think you should be 1-1 and ranked.
I think Northwestern at 2-0.
Oh yeah, Northwestern's 1,000,000% should be ranked.
Just ridiculous.
But anyway,
just ridiculous.
I digress.
Speaking of that, let's go ahead and move into that game. Another interesting nooner. We got Michigan and Indiana. This is 339, 340 rotation numbers. This is noon on FS1. Michigan opened a 3.5-point favorite. It is still sitting 3.5. 55.5 is the total, and I don't know what to make of Michigan. I got no idea.
Nope.
I think Indiana's good.
I do think Indiana's good.
but like they got completely dominated in the stat box by Penn State. Looked better against Rutgers, but it's Rutgers. You know, this will be a very telling game because Indiana. I did not expect Indiana to be the team that was 2-0 coming into the spot.
No, I didn't either. We're going to learn more about both these teams. This is why it's hard. We're into week 10, going into week 11, I guess, and teams are
going into week 10.
Sorry, going into week 10. That's right. And teams are just now playing their third game. We're still getting data points on these guys.
Yeah, this is a strange year.
Don't have a lean right now, but I might have. I'm going to be interested in this game. I will want action on it.
I'm leaning Indiana right now.
See, I'm leaning Michigan, but I like taking the team that's coming off of the big loss. I think
that makes sense.
I think one guy has something to fight for, and the other guy is just thrilled to be 2-0. That's the difference.
And you might be right. I don't know that this is going to be an official play.
That's what I'm saying. I'm going to have action on it. I'm going to wait until Tuesday to see, do I feel confident enough in that philosophy.
And then finally, to end the noon slate, we have got our boys. We got two of our boys here, and that would be Arkansas State at Louisiana. 389, 390 rotation numbers. Louisiana, Lafayette, which they like to go by Louisiana.
They're just Louisiana. The books still have them as Louisiana Lafayette.
Louisiana minus 13 is what it opened, and now it's up to 13.5. Arkansas State has not had a good couple of weeks.
That's right.
They can be shut down offensively, it appears.
We've recently 2 weeks in a row seen that.
Yes. Now, the total is 63.5.
Before those 2 weeks, we hadn't seen it at all.
I don't know that Louisiana has the defense to be able to slow these guys down. Now, I do, like, they could easily cover this 13.5 just based on talent alone. But this total here, 63.5, this could easily end up in the 70s because, Louisiana just did it last week.
I was just about to say.
So I could see that. I mean, I'm going to have to dig a lot more into this game, but my lean right now would be Arkansas State to cover. And
if you can't stop Arkansas State from scoring,
the over would be the play.
It's going to be, I don't know. It's going to be really hard to cover 2 touchdowns on them.
Yeah.
Because the backdoor cover is just always there for a team that can score so easily.
This is true. All right, moving on to the afternoon slate. And boy, do we not have very much going on in the afternoon. So if you wanted a window of opportunity to be able to get some stuff done on Saturday, the afternoon slate would be it if you are not interested in a massive, massive game, right?
I like a lot of these games.
I can understand it.
I will be watching football.
For
all of these games.
But you and I are watching football all day, every Saturday and Sunday.
Okay.
So
true. Yes, true.
381, 382 rotation, Florida and Georgia in the world's largest outdoor cocktail party in Jacksonville, Florida. This one's a 3:30 p.m. Eastern time game on CBS. Georgia opened a 6-point favorite, even though that offense can't score nothing. Nothing.
Well, you
They're
can't
worthless.
get 6 now.
No, it is
hours
it's down
later.
to 4.
It is down to 4.
And that still feels like too much.
And way too many points.
Florida will be able to score. Georgia is going to have to find a way to keep up. If Florida gets up 14-0 in this game, it is over. Like
Georgia will not be able to come from behind.
There's got to be something going on with JT Daniels, right? Like he has been cleared to play. As bad as that offense has been with Stetson Bennett, how are you not just trying JT Daniels? Like are they saving him for this weekend?
I don't know if it's a save. God, they could have.
If
saving him means you almost lose to Kentucky, congratulations, you beat the cocktail party.
They were never in doubt in that game.
Here's the deal.
It never felt like they were going to lose that
Let's
game.
say JT Daniels comes out. Do we think, honestly, Georgia's defense is good enough to hold this team within 25, 30 points? I mean, JT Daniels is going to have to come out and play a hell of a football game to hang with this Florida offense.
Yeah, I think so. I mean,
I've been on Florida before the season started. I was on Florida, but the second the season started, there's not a week gone by where I didn't say Florida's winning the East.
I will tell you when my mind started to shift, because I've been Georgia all the way. Georgia's got more talent. I like their defense.
Yeah.
The middle of that Alabama game, like when Alabama went up 27-24.
Yeah, the second half.
My immediate thought was, Oh, Florida's going to be able to score on these
Florida's
guys.
going to be on the score on it. This defense is good. They're not great, man.
And
they're
on top
not
of
elite.
that,
I've been chesty about Arkansas being the best defense in the SEC. There's a little bit of tongue in cheek to that. The concept that Arkansas's in the conversation with Georgia as defense tells you defense isn't winning the SEC.
no, you got that right. You
Give
have
me
to be
the
able to
team
score.
that can score 40 on almost anybody.
It's true. It is true.
That's Alabama. That's Florida. That's your SEC title game.
I think you might be right. Georgia
And if you're going to beat Florida, you better outscore them, which is what A&M did.
Don't get me wrong here. I think that Georgia's defense is still really good.
I think they're good.
Here's the other side of this.
They can get got.
Well, because I think any defense in today's football can be gotten.
Yeah,
right.
that's it.
The issue right now with Georgia, Richard LeCount, their leader in the secondary, injured in a motorcycle accident Saturday night. That's not good. They've got some other guys that were hurt in that Kentucky game. Looks like they might be out this week. If your defense isn't that good and your offense can't score, then you got issues here. So while the talent discrepancy and all that heavily leans Georgia, man, if you can't stop Kyle Trask and you can't stop Kyle Pitts,
I know everybody's going to point to the record and they're going to point to the history. Give me Dan Mullins over Kirby Smart head to head in a battle of wits.
So you saw the fight, right?
I saw the
Florida,
fight.
Missouri. That was that was something. That's a team that's pretty fired up right now.
I will tell you this. Dan's an easily hateable guy, all right? Like, there's a reason his rivals loathe him.
Yes.
He's real easy to hate badly.
I think, like, that fight kind of told me that these guys are ready for Georgia.
This guy's an asshole. That's what the fight told me. This guy is a prick.
You might be right about that. You might be right about that. All right, let's. We've only got 3 games for the afternoon slate. We had a couple other ones. We marked some off, but
no, we've talked about a bunch of games.
Yeah, let's dive into this. We've got Houston and Cincinnati. Cincy opened a 10.5 point favorite, and I mean it's out to 11.
It ain't enough.
Like Houston did not look good against Central Florida. If Central Florida's defense can slow down your offense, then Dana Holgerson's got some problems.
I'm just telling you, this Cincinnati team is built to beat up these types of teams.
Total is 58. Would you go over that?
No, because there's a world in which Houston scores 20. And if Cincinnati decides to slow down. Now, let me tell you this. Cincinnati,
they've been putting up points.
They threw the football all over Memphis.
Yes.
They threw the football. I thought they would run it all over them. They
did that too.
They did that too. But I was not expecting them to drop, 20-yard routes all day long.
No, it's true. It's true. It was a bit of an issue for Memphis.
It was
an issue.
Just a smidge. I think it's going to be an issue for Houston too. I wouldn't touch the over/under because there's a world in which I think Cincinnati can just put this in a phone booth, and if they beat them 30-17, they're going to be happy.
Yeah, I can see that.
But I don't see a world in which Cincinnati's keeping this close. I'm just in love with this. Houston. I'm in love with the Cincinnati team. I just am. I just needed Cincinnati to start playing football again for me to get wins. That's it.
I can understand that. I'm good with that. I'm good with that. All right, and finally, we'll close out with this one. These are 2 teams that are coming off of very disheartening losses. We'll call them that, right? We've got We've got Oklahoma State. I'm reading off the wrong list.
That's all right.
Oklahoma State and Kansas State. Rotation 375, 376. Oklahoma State opened a 9.5 point favorite. It is still sitting at 9.5. I don't know that anybody really knows what to do with this game. It's off of a key number. Oklahoma State has not been great covering as a favorite. Kansas State looked dead in the water at West Virginia. If Oklahoma State's offense gets going, Kansas State is not going to be able to keep up.
Yeah, that's the problem.
I don't want to go back to the well with Oklahoma State after they have cost me 2 straight weeks.
You bet on both these teams.
Yes, I did.
You bet on both these teams. I think this is a perfect opportunity to say, I'm just going to hang out.
I think that's probably
I'm going to
what
let the Big 12 be drunk another weekend, and then I'll reevaluate things.
That's probably which way I'm going to go. If I had to lean a certain way.
It's going to be a fun game, though.
I think it is going to be fun. I would have to lean Kansas State because they have had Gundy's number for a while.
The backdoor cover we have just seen is just there for Oklahoma State.
Well, but
when they're up more than 2 scores, when when the line is more than 2 scores, at some point in time, they are going to, with a lead even, feel safe. And the other team can, even though Kansas State is not Texas, they are not Iowa State, they don't have the offense that those teams have. I still think they're able to score if and when they
got
need
playmakers.
to. And the other defense is giving you a little bit of breathing room because they're not afraid of losing the game.
Deuce Vaughn is a hell of a playmaker for Kansas State.
He really is, and it's the backdoor cover's available for you. I got one question about the noon game, and then the afternoon slate. We'll move on. Not at all interested in the UMass Marshall tilt at 45. I thought that was the over-under, and I was trying to find the spread, Gary. I was trying to find the damn spread. I was like, why isn't there a line on this game? How do we have a total and not a line? And I was like, that's the spread. That's the line.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the line. Okay.
And Marshall will absolutely smoke that team. I mean, UMass is awfully bad. How Walt Bell got that job, I have no idea. And don't get me wrong, I love Walt Bell.
What are they paying him? I'll do it for half. I love the area of Boston. I'll do it. Whatever you're paying him, cut it in half. I promise you I can put up the same results.
Pretty much.
I'll at least get us on probation, and the NCAA will be talking about us. All right. Shows like this will be talking about us.
There you go.
I'm going to pay some folks.
Thanks to you, we're already talking about it.
I was looking at lines, and I was really mad that I couldn't find the line on that game, and I thought, that's so weird they have a total and not a line. And then I realized, oh, no. Nope, that's the line. Okay.
That's the way it goes.
I'm moving on.
That is the way it goes. All right, let's move into the evening slate. We got several more games in this spot. Yep. We're going to open first. 399, 400 rotation numbers. Texas A&M heading to Columbia, South Carolina to face off against the Gamecocks. Will Muschamp needs to win in the worst way. They are sitting at 2-3 right now. A&M in probably the best spot out of anybody in the SEC outside of Alabama to be able to make the playoff.
I agree, because they're done with Alabama.
Yeah, they're done with Alabama, and they don't have to play in the conference championship game because of Alabama.
They will be able to sit back, let everybody else beat themselves up, and there's a world in which they finish 9-1, and they're going to be saying, hey, we only lost to those guys.
And we've gotten better.
If Clemson continues to be a little rocky, those guys are probably going to be the number 1 team in the country.
Yeah, I think you're right. A&M, an 8-point favorite at opening. It is down to 7.5. People tend to think that Muschamp and that bunch will be able to keep this close. I would probably have to lean the other way.
I think there's a little desperation. I'm biased because I like South Carolina.
This
I'm
feels
a complete stay away, but I do think if you just said I got to have action on this thing, Jimbo's playing really well. He's got to Kellerman look good.
And that defense, while not great, they were able to shut down Arkansas for the most part.
No, they can make stops, and Arkansas and South Carolina's offense pretty comparable.
Yeah,
neither one of them are great. They can both run the football a little bit, but neither one of them are.
I kind of like the under here, 55.5. No, it's under a key number, 56.
I was just about to say I want to see it go up a little bit, but if it's not going to go up, I get nervous.
55.5 though, these are two coaches that love to run clock. They love to run clock.
Well, no, Jimbo, I feel like he's always got like a dinner reservation. And he's just trying to all the rest of these SEC games are they last 4.5 hours. They're the Red Sox and the Yankees in a baseball game. So we're just gonna go for 6 hours and make these refs earn a day's worth of salary.
Jimbo's 2.5 hours.
Jimbo has a reservation.
I got to get down to the steak.
He's just waiting to get to. I don't know.
I'm with
win or lose. I'm not missing dinner time.
There you go. The biggest game of the day would be the Clemson Tigers headed to South Bend to face off against Notre Dame. 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time on NBC. It's rotation 401, 402. Line opened offshore. Clemson minus 2.5. It is now out to 6.5. There's even 7.
And it's 7 at a lot of places.
So total 50.5. Any play on the total? I'd probably go over.
I think under.
You think so?
I believe in Notre Dame's defense, and I think this young freshman quarterback's going to make several mistakes.
You might be right about that.
I think they are going to key in on Etienne, and they're just going to say, if we can control this monster, we can stay in this fight.
DJ Uiagalelei, which I nailed at that time.
I know.
That's what I'm talking about.
Hang on. No, you've done a hell of a job with the names.
DJ Uiagalelei. There we go. I'm gonna get as good at that as I am with Neo Matalola. I'm gonna knock this thing out of the park.
be pretty good at all.
He looked great last week, right? Well, we saw TJ Finley look great in his first game. And then the second game, like first game, you don't have as many practice reps. You don't have to think about it all week. You're not getting inside your own head. You're just coming out and you're, all right, here we go, right? Second game against the defense of this caliber. Now, Notre Dame, you and I have been through the schedule. Not a lot of giant killers on that schedule, right?
No, but this is still the best defense. I mean, it's worlds different than
Boston College.
Boston College, BC.
Yes.
Worlds different, man. It's just different caliber of dudes coming after him.
If I had to go with somebody, I would lean Irish right here.
Oh, I would too. But I liked them to have a shot to win the game. If this was a field goal or more, I was going to take the Irish. Now I can get a touchdown. I just think
without Trevor Lawrence.
I know that's gonna be a thing. They still have playmakers all over the place. I think Notre Dame's going to struggle to score. I think this is going to be a low scoring game. I like the under.
I'll tell you this. I want to see what's going on with Clemson's defense. They had a ton of guys out last week, ton of linebackers, secondary guys. Like it allowed the passing lanes to be open for BC, and they took advantage of it.
Yeah, no.
Is Notre Dame as good passing the football?
No.
As Boston College?
They're not as good actually at that. Just because they don't have the skill players BC and they run a different style of offense. But I still think teams can score on them. Syracuse runs a completely different offense, which is non-existent and really bad. They put up 21 points on them. I mean,
but the problem is that was a pick six. I mean,
they put up 27 of Syracuse wasn't the pick six.
Yeah,
that's
pick six of Trevor Lawrence.
BC got the defensive score and they scored 21.
Yeah, they scored 21. Yeah.
If Notre Dame can score 21 points, they're going to win this game.
I think they could win the game. Yeah, you're right.
They're going to win this game. First team to 20, winning this game.
Let's go ahead and rapid fire through the rest of this because I don't think there's a massive game.
Nothing else I have a real strong opinion about.
Let's go ahead and talk about Stanford and Oregon. Of course, Pac-12 is back. This is a massive game. This is the ABC 6:30 Central Time, God's time zone, of course, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time on ABC. Oregon opened a 9-point favorite over the Cardinal at home, and that is out to 12 now.
It's out to 12.
Now, former Boston College quarterback Anthony Brown, he's going to be starting, it looks like, for Oregon. It feels like it might be too much. Now, you and I both have gone back and forth about David Shaw. Like, he is consistency.
He's
at
consistent.
its peak. Like,
he's just consistent. I think he is a good coach.
However, they were not very good last year, and they got smoked in several spots last year. I'm
now seeing their quarterback at Mississippi State, and I think some of that's his fault.
Well, Davis Wade ended up starting
a lot of those games. Was it Davis? It's not Davis Wade. Davis Wade's the name of State Stadium
Field, but I think it's either way. We will figure that out before Tuesday's show.
Okay, I do have an opinion about this game.
All right, go ahead.
And I'll go quickly on this.
You're good.
I've lost a lot of respect for Mario Cristobal.
How is that even possible?
Because I watch a lot of football on Sundays, and
Justin Herbert.
I
knew this was weird. Davis Mills, by the way. Mills.
Justin Herbert looks unbelievable. And an NFL scout, or a former NFL scout who's now a media member, said, I got to go talk to Mario. And said, hey, what
happened?
What happened? This kid never did this at Oregon, and Oregon is known for high-flying offenses. How are y'all hiding this guy? Like, he should be able to file malpractice, like, a lawsuit against you for not going higher in the draft because of you. What happened?
I mean, he went number 6.
And Mario Cristobal's, dude, he should have went right behind Joe. He should have went right behind Joe.
Okay, good.
He's that good. And Mario's answer bothers me. Mario's response was, we didn't have another quarterback behind him that we trusted. And so we just dumbed the playbook down and ran vanilla all year long. Hang on, bro. He still stepped back and threw the football a lot. The chances of him taking a sack running a boring offense or one of these high-flying offenses is actually greater. No. You don't know how to design offenses. I know he's a defensive guy. Your OC, that is a damning indictment on him.
He's an offensive line coach. He's not. But he's not
guy. He's an offensive line.
Yeah,
that's okay.
He's not who they should have gone to talk to is
the play caller.
The play caller who is now the head coach at UNLV.
That's correct. But why is Mario protecting that guy? Because I'd have hurled that guy under the bus and been like, look, I don't know. I wasn't calling plays. We should have used him better. His answer was pretty pathetic. And I was like, maybe this guy's not as smart as I thought he was. Maybe he's not as good of a coach as he is. He doesn't know how to get the most out of his players. I'm going to be a little more tight-eyed when watching Oregon with a little bit of, are you really a good coach?
I can understand.
They got a ton of talent, so it's hard to beat them, and they're going to be able to push their way around the Pac-12, I believe. But that is a bullcrap response to why a kid went to a much better league and all of a sudden looks incredible, and with you, he looked kind of blasé.
Yeah. Now, I will say this. He's got a significantly better receiving core with the Chargers than he did with Oregon. And that's what a lot of people blame.
We don't know that.
I think we probably
We don't know that. He has no run game, and he has no offensive line. And at Oregon, he had a great offensive line and a great run game.
But no receivers to throw.
But what if they ran a different scheme? We don't know any of the receivers that these other guys have ran.
Well, I know this.
You can make receivers, Bubba.
They had multiple receivers out last year. Either way, I'm not trying to take up for Cristobal. All I'm saying
is your boy. I know it's your boy.
I do like Cristobal. I know. But it is still no excuse.
I'm going to watch him a little cross-eyed now.
I can understand it. I
don't know if he's very good or not.
Let's go ahead and move into the last three, and now we'll start the rapid fire.
Now we're going to roll.
Tennessee at Arkansas, 4:04, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time on the SEC Network. Tennessee opened a 1-point favorite. They are still sitting at a 1-point favorite. I don't know that anybody knows what to do with this line. Tennessee is supposed to be better.
I think it's the wrong team favorite.
I mean, it might be 53.5.
Arkansas's defense is going to put Guarantano in a pretzel.
They really might.
You think Kentucky made him look bad?
Yeah, just wait.
They picked off Matt Corral 7 times. What are they going to do to Guarantano?
I mean, you got a valid point there.
Wrong team favored.
53.5 is the total.
I got no feel on that. Probably under.
Well, the only scary thing about playing the under is pick sixes.
Yeah,
right?
the defensive scoring. Yeah,
pretty terrifying.
I'd stay away from it, but yeah.
Toss this one on here just because I love talking about the team because I'm a fan of mullets, of course. So we will talk about the Coastal Carolina Chanticleers. I believe I said that correctly.
Just rolling. I did not see this past week. No. 53?
51 to nothing.
51 to nothing.
Yeah. It was I
didn't see that in any. They could play this game 100 times. I wouldn't have predicted that outcome.
Nope, never. South Alabama is headed to Coastal Carolina. 321, 322 rotation numbers. Coastal opened a 15.5-point favorite with a total of 56.5. It's up to 16. Total, of course, sticking the same right now, is what it is.
This number's going up.
It's going up, and it will continue to go up because
by the time we get here on a Tuesday, it's going to keep growing.
It might be 17.
Yeah, it's going to keep growing.
I will say that's at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, and it's on ESPNU, so it's national television. But yeah, I'm curious about this. South Alabama has played really well. They have covered several times as an underdog. I'm curious to see what they're going to look like here. So, what's the kid's name for South Alabama? Desmond, is it Ritter?
Quarterback?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He is outstanding. Even in a loss last week to Georgia Southern, 20 out of 27 for 300 yards, had 2 touchdowns. He looks good.
He's going to have to be outstanding.
Yeah, he's going to need to be good.
Whooping people's butt.
Jamie Chadwell, the head coach for Coastal Carolina, has told his players, I told you about this, has told his players that if they win the Sun Belt this year, he is going to grow his hair into a mullet. He's going to get it cut into a mullet. There's 9 guys on the team that have mullets. Fantastic. I can't get enough of this. I'm pulling for him just for that reason because I want to see this. This is the guy. If you hadn't seen the clip back in the day of Jamie Chadwell coming out and talking about, we don't need no cats. We don't need no meows. We need more dogs.
It is one of the best press conferences of all time from a college football coach.
And seeing him with a mullet.
Is there a world in which we can get him in the SEC next year?
God, it'd be so great. If Billy Napier turned South Carolina down, maybe. I mean, he's already over in Carolina.
I know. He's just right there. He's just right there. Would you take him over Napier? In any world, would you take him over Napier?
Man.
Let's say he's $1 million a year cheaper.
No.
I'm trying to make this work.
No, I don't think so, because Napier has all of the accolades, all of the...
Can he do anything at a school like Vanderbilt or just not possible?
I think it's possible.
That's not a scheming problem. That's a talent problem.
That's a Jimmy's and Joe's problem.
Yeah.
But I could see him doing stuff at Vanderbilt. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
So
I'm just trying to find a way to get him into our world. I like our world being full of good, fun, exciting coaches.
I agree with you. All right, last one for us to discuss, Washington and Cal. This is the late night game, 10:30 p.m. Eastern time on ESPN. 365-366, Washington, new head coach Jimmy Lake. Cal with that defense. Chase Garbers is going to be back, that quarterback that was undefeated in his starts last year. Unbelievable. Washington opened a 3.5-point favorite. It is now a pick 'em.
Yeah.
I mean, you can find Washington -1. You can find Cal -1, depending on the book. Make sure you go over to SBRodds.com.
But it's right at 1. You're picking a winner.
Yeah, you're picking a winner.
Good luck trying to pick a winner.
I like Cal a lot.
Well, but last
Cal.
year I love this coach. I love the defense that they run. I want them to be better than they are offensively. They were so inept. They couldn't do any. They just couldn't win, and they couldn't cover.
Defense is lights out.
They were lights out last year, but they couldn't cover because they couldn't score.
Okay, you got to. Okay.
I love them. I want it to happen. I need to see a couple of weeks.
I can believe that. I can believe that. All right, let's go ahead and get out of here. We have taken up too much of your time. We're almost an hour in. You guys are fantastic. Thank you so much for hanging out and watching the show with us. If you would, leave your comments down at the bottom. We want to know where you have an edge this week. Go over to sbrpicks.com/NCAAF. Make sure you like this video. You subscribe to the channel because you want to see our beautiful faces again. I know you do. I mean, look at us. All this smiling going on. It's fantastic. Good stuff. Subscribe, comment, share the show out, tell your friends about it. All that wonderful stuff. SBRpicks.com/pick6, P-I-C-K and the number 6. Go get your picks in. NFL and college, you can win up to $1,700 in cash prizes every single week. And again, we didn't talk about every single game. We're not going to have time to. But you can reach out to us. We're on Twitter. I'm at Gary WCE.
I'm at Chris B. Giannini.
You can find us on there. We will respond to whatever questions you got. Is there anything else I need to hit?
That's it, brother.
That is it. For sportsbookreview.com, I'm Gary.
And I'm Chris.
And we will see you all again on Tuesday.